Hello there guys, I'm Johnny, and after my first upload yesterday I'm rather excitedly bringing to you my first review as the safety valve conveniently blows off. This is the Great Western Railway 4200 class that's recently been released on Steam. That's by Victoryworks, and Steam Sounds Supreme, I believe, did the sounds. So I'm going to talk to you about a bit of the history of the 4200 or the 5205 and the huge 7200 classes that were later released. I'm also going to talk to you about the wagons, the look of the train, the model of the train, the sounds, how unique and good the sounds might be, and also I'm going to talk to you about what the DLC includes and how much it includes, and is it worth the money for you. So I've set up a quick free roam or quick drive from Kingswear to Paignton, which will be a bit shorter than yesterday's 35-minute scenario, and I'm just going to tell you about how the train works. I'm incredibly excited. So let's talk about the features that the engine supposedly has. Remember, this loco is in the Pro range, which means it will have advanced physics, advanced sounds, and it will be a lot harder to operate. You will need to read the manual on this one. It does have a basic setting, which makes it a lot easier to drive, which I'll be using today because it's a lot harder to drive advanced and do a review at the same time, although I'd quite like to take on a couple of the challenges that are offered in the scenarios on some of my videos. So, the description of the product is step into the cab of a trio of Great Western Railway's hard-working tank engines, the original 4200, improved 5205, and the huge plus 7200 classes, all brought to life in Train Simulator by Victoryworks. 6 career scenarios are included, and these do have some other requirements. The Maerdy branch is one of them, as these were classically used in South Wales, and also the Riviera line in the 50s, which is what we're on right now with one of the custom consists for quick drive mode. So, I'm going to apply a bit of the throttle, going to get us going. You can hear some of the sounds, then we'll talk about some of the history on the way, just to get rid of this noise of the safety valve really. I must say I've heard one of these in real life in preservation, and or one similar, I think maybe a 4200, but these sounds are absolutely remarkable. Just as a first thought. So, while we listen to the lovely sounds, I'll take you through these coaches that are included in the pack. Wagons, rather. Some very unique colliery company wagons, all with highly unique and well-produced sounds. Independent sounds for when they're crossing junctions, when they're generally moving along. They sound exactly like they should. I'm not sure if this is a new Great Western brake van or a reused one from another Victoryworks pack. I won't be able to provide much information on that because the towed brake van is remarkably similar, although it does seem to have some nice sounds. Also has a nice cab view, or passenger view if you like, in the brake van. You can enjoy the sights and sounds. Doesn't have an operable lever, but it's not what we'd expect. It's a beautiful view over Kingswear as we leave. Okay, so we have quite a heavy train today. But we're going to be making our way up the line from Kingswear, over the top to Churston, through the tunnel, until we eventually reach our destination of Paynton after quite a nice drop down. So I've had a dabble with some of the scenarios included in the pack, just as I have with the physics of the engine in Advanced, and I must say it is an incredibly impressive add-on pack for the price of $14.99. You have it in various liveries: Great Western green, British Rail green. You have the British Rail black and weathered variants. So we're heading up a 1 in 66 from Kingswear right now, which is demanding quite a lot of attention from me, but I'll try and carry on with the review as best as possible. I must say the sounds on the coaches are truly fantastic. I keep saying coaches, I mean the wagons. Okay, let's just take a broader view. The wagon sounds are incredibly authentic. Okay, while we continue our run, I'll just have a quick conversation with you about the history of the locomotive. The Pro range is aimed towards the serious train simulation enthusiast. Starting life in 1910, Great Western Railway 4200 class was developed after the railway had absorbed various smaller railways in South Wales, which operated coal trains out of the undulating valleys on sharp and steep tracks. It was a job only specific locomotives could do, and so the 4200 class was designed to meet those requirements, as well as being able to cope with the increasing demand. Taking elements from the tender-equipped 2800 class, Chief Engineer G.J. Churchwood designed the 4200 class the UK's very first 280 tank engine. A total of 105 of these locos will be built between 1910 and 1923. Although they were not the only locos of their kind. By 1923, improvements to the design of the 4200 class had been put into place, making an all-round, more powerful locomotive. This advancement was dubbed the 5205 class, of which a further 100 were produced right up until 1940. I believe we are currently in a 5205 class. 5237. This is the weathered Great Western green livery. Here we have Knight of the Garter. One last alteration will be made to Churchward's tank engine design. Following a diminishing demand for coal traffic, Churchward's successor, Charles Collin, designed a revised 282 variant of the loco, adding length to the coal bunker and water tanks and supporting the weight with additional set of wheels. This resulted in the impressive looking 7200 class, which was much more equipped for longer running distances throughout the rest of the Great Western network. Impressively, many of the locomotives remained in working order, right into the British Railways era and beyond. Hauling freight across ex-Great Western rails right through to the end of the steam age. A handful of locomotives from each variant of the design have been preserved in various conditions, making them a rare but pleasant sight on heritage lines. With 3 distinct variants and a dozen more in all the tiny details, you'll rarely drive 2 locomotives that are the same when working in the coal valleys or on local freight services. That's the description we get, and some of the history of the locomotive as well, which I do appreciate from either Victory Works or DTG, whoever's written that. Any Steam Sound Supreme product really is rather unique, and their sounds are excellent, as are the Victory Works products. The career scenarios do appear to be very good. There's quite a challenging one with 250 tons of cable going up to the top of Maerdy, which would be worth a try if you're up for a challenge. It's one of the ones I'd like to attempt in a video, just to give a bit of a tutorial about driving and firing. Nearly speeding again there. Speeding slightly again. I'm too busy concentrating on how beautiful this loco is. The sounds so far have been excellent. You've heard it running without power on, which I think sounds fantastic. Classic GWR. scenarios are excellent. As far as I'm aware, there are no problems with them, and usually aren't with Victory Works products, but I will play more of those on record so that you can see how good they really are. One thing I have noticed about the wagons that is a slightly detracting aspect is that when they were pulling at full pelt, it looked almost as though some of them weren't connected, although that could be my eyes. Just coming into Painton now, and we'll take a little look at the model and have a look in the cab as well. Beautiful detailing there. There we go, guys. Well, thanks very much for this short ride from Kingsway to Paynton. I hope you enjoy the review. I do think it's worth the money. And I'll display some of the scenarios later on. But there's the background. Here are my thoughts. Thanks for watching.